Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Nightmare World devlog. As many of you probably noticed, we did not have a devlog last month. This was for a number of reasons. Most of the work was back-end stuff, which isn't all that interesting to look at and show off. And we were also working a bit more on the game design document in order to keep us all on track and working towards a consistent goal. This month, however, is a different story. We began deeply diving into the skills of Nightmare World, which is going to be the backbone of our class list system. Now, I am going to go a little more in depth into the skills here, but I do have to make it clear. The skill list is still in development and can change at any time. Game development is an ever-evolving process, and new ideas get added all the time and some get abandoned. So while this list is our plan at the current time, it is highly likely to change at some point in the future. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you all about skills and attributes. There are a total of 15 skills we have planned at the current time. Each of the skills has a category and an alignment. We'll talk about alignments here in a little bit, but firstly let's talk about categories. For combat skills we have melee, ranged, magic and defense. These govern, well, combat. How effective you are at specific combat styles, it's pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the crafting skills. Each one of these skills creates weapons and tools for one of the combat skills. Obviously there will be some crossover between them, but for the core progression each crafting skill will benefit one combat type. The crafting skills are smithing, artifice and spellcraft. Now, the crafting skills need resources in order to be trained. Smithing requires metals, artifice requires wood and leather, and spellcraft requires spell stuff. So each crafting skill needs a respective gathering skill to supply it with those resources. There are mining, survival, and wording. Now, you might be asking, what in the world is wording? And I'm not going to answer that. I look forward to your theories on that in the comments. Next up, we have the buffing skills. These are methods of aiding you not only in battle, but in just about any area of the game. These are cooking, medicine, and alchemy. I'm not going to go too much in depth in any of these skills because they are still very much in the early planning stages and there isn't much I can reveal at this time. And finally, the last category is support. These skills support all the other skills in some way, granting little benefits. These skills likely won't be required for the other skills, but they can help tremendously. These skills are horticulture, for growing plants, beastken, for training animals, glamour, which is all about your character's appearance, and archaeology, which will give players an optional way to explore the lore deeper, for those who like that sort of thing. Each of these skills also fits into one of 4 alignments: tradition, science, arcana, and unaligned. These add a bit of lore flavour for each skill, and could influence certain things in the game. Say for example, there is a scientist who wants you to do a job, and you have a high science level while your friend has a low science level. The scientist would treat you a bit better as he sees you as a scientific peer, whereas he might treat your friend as a bit more of an assistant. He would still give you both the same quest for the same reward, but player interactions will be more varied and a bit different. Now, you may have noticed that many of these skills resemble the skills of RuneScape. That's no accident. Many of the devs are big fans of RuneScape, and it has definitely influenced how we do things. We've taken RuneScape as a base, but that doesn't mean we're just going to make our own RuneScape with blackjack and fairy hookers. We've added our own flair to the skill system, so that it's not just a blatant rip-off. We'll probably discuss this more in a future video, but for now we're going to switch topics slightly and discuss Fortnite. No, not that Fortnite. This Fortnite. We have started a type of development called a development sprint. Basically, we have a goal that needs to be accomplished in a specific time frame, and all the departments are focused and working towards that goal at once. Now, this type of development is often associated with a time crunch, or a rush, but that's not what we're doing. We are still taking our time on things, and if we don't fully complete that goal, that's okay. The point of a sprint is more for us to get everybody on the team working and focusing on a single subject. And we are doing this in the form of what we are calling skill fortnights. For 2 weeks, the whole team focuses on a single skill. Sound creates sound effects and music, art makes models and textures, lore comes up with NPCs related to the skill, and so on. All for a specific skill. The last 2 weeks we had our first skill fortnight, mining. We added some new ores, cleaned up the mining code massively, and made it so that swinging your pickaxe actually collects the resources, something that's been missing for a while. By the way, you can actually swing your pickaxe now. For our next skill fortnight, we are focusing on the survival skill. This will include things like woodcutting, fire making, and surviving in harsh weather. But we'll discuss more on that in the next devlog. Now, we just mentioned weather. And at this point, you've probably realised that there is no weather system. Well, for those of you who've been following along in the Discord, and by the way, we also have a Reddit now that we're going to be trying to keep updated regularly, well, you may very well have caught wind of this. One of our big focuses over the last month has been our new weather system. We want Nightmare World to feel alive and varied at all times. We don't want zones to feel static and stale. Weather systems are an incredibly good way to achieve this. Unfortunately though, many weather systems are still very static. Take World of Warcraft for example. Although there are different weather types such as thunderstorms, rain, snow and hail, well, they all still feel very static. It is one or the other. We've taken an incredibly different approach, and we have made a physically based weather system, taking real-world, real-life variables and converting them to code. Now, this might sound like we're trying to preach the metaverse here, but I promise you, it's simpler than you may think. We have taken things such as temperature, wind speed, wind direction, and precipitation percentage. Now, I know that you all know what the first three are, so I'll enlighten you on what precipitation is if you don't. Precipitation is basically the chance of downfall. Now, let's look at it like this. If the precipitation chance is high and the temperature is low, well, you're going to get snow. And already you may be starting to see where this is going. We are trying to physically base this. This means that by setting some bounding parameters in different areas, the weather will sync up across the server, and by only downloading 4 variables from the server, each zone that we enter, well, we can recreate replicated, diverse weather effects. Now, that's all good and well, having particles that are affected by wind direction, wind speed, and precipitation percent. But you guys know us better than that. You know we go the extra step. So we've been working very, very hard on a system that will allow us to have accumulative snow on everything. Well, everything that we allow it to be on. And that's what you've been seeing in the background. A time-lapse of snow building up on a very quick demo scene that we've thrown together. Now, the beauty of this is it's fully dynamic and incredibly efficient. This was built with efficiency in mind first. If it wasn't going to run efficiently, we were going back to the drawing board. However, with a few tricks from Unreal Engine, we've managed to make some absolutely gorgeous snow effects. The visuals are not complete. The programming almost is, though. Along with this in the background, you'll see some of the new ores that we've added. The art team, the sound team, the lore team, and the programming team have all done a fantastic job over the last 2 months, despite us not having a great deal of time. This project is moving along faster than any of us could imagine, and we're having a blast doing it. If you guys want incremental updates on this and can't wait for the next devlog, make sure to join the Discord linked on screen now. It will also be linked in the description below. I can't wait to see you around. But honestly, that's all we've got for this devlog. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. As always, have a fantastic week and an awesome night. As always, a massive thank you to the Patreons. If you're watching this right now, I will be live over on Twitch, playing some games, hanging out with you guys and chatting about Nightmare World.